Hey, what's up guys? Just wanted to do a container garden update. I've got a lot happening here, a lot to go through, so let's get started. I've changed a lot of things. There's been a lot of waiting. Of course, gardening is awesome in the beginning when you're planting and you're prepping, but then there's a lot of waiting. But now I'm starting to be rewarded, and I'll show you what I mean. Take a look at this corn that I planted in the ground in the native soil. I didn't think that this was going to amount to much because the soil here is not that great, but apparently it's not as bad as I thought. We're starting to get some tassels here on the corn, which is a good indication that we're going to start seeing some actual corn growth in a few weeks. So that's really cool. Looking really good in the corn. Moving over here, check out my cayenne pepper. Look at these peppers. They're so nice. I top this pepper plant. It's not as bushy as I would have liked, but if you go around and you count the number of flowers and potential spots for the cayenne peppers, we're talking about 15, maybe 20 peppers. So that's going to be awesome. Once these turn red and they're ready to harvest, I'm going to make my own hot sauce. I'm so excited to try that. I've always wanted to make my own hot sauce. I hear it's actually pretty easy. My red strawberry Seascape, remember the strawberry root crowns I planted? This is what they look like. They're nice and green and they're looking good, but they're really not putting on flowers yet, although a few of them are. I'll show you that in a sec. This one's new here. This is a Better Boy tomato, a very common tomato that you get at the home centers because it grows really well. It grows really prolifically, really nice size, very delicious, big meaty tomatoes. And I've got a couple of tomatoes coming in over there. There's another one over there, but right now it's mostly just foliage, but there's a lot of flowers, so that's going to be pretty cool. Over here, I've got a bucket of strawberries from last year. There's actually a lot of runners in here, and I'm letting it kind of clone itself because I think that's going to be good later in the season. Over here is my California Bell Wonder plant, which started off in that super small pot. You might remember I had it in an 8-inch pot, but I decided that that was way too small for it. It's got some small bells on there, and hopefully it fills out now that I put it in a much larger pot. Over here, some more of these Seascape Strawberries that I planted from root crown. And as you can see, we've got some strawberries here. And this one's actually starting to turn red, and it's going to be really delicious. Excited for that. Over here, I've got my bush cucumber plant, which is living up to its name. It stayed small, and we've got some cucumbers back there. You can see all the way back there. Some cucumbers aren't ready to pick yet, but the cool thing with cucumbers is that you can pick them when they're small, probably as small as 4 or 5 inches. And the cool thing about picking them when they're small is that the seeds are smaller, and it's pretty good. So don't be afraid to pick your cucumbers when they're early. I've been trying to keep this plant kind of attached to this trellis system as much as possible. Over here, this is my BushSteak hybrid. This particular tomato variety is meant to kind of stay low and bushy. As you can see, it's not growing up, it's just growing out. So we've got some fruit coming on here, and that's going to be awesome. Hey, check out my Armenian cucumber. And I've got this crazy trellis system, these 2 decorative trellises, and it's looking awesome. It's climbing the trellis beautifully. I finally have some female flowers. It was mostly male flowers for the longest time, and I even have some cucumber growth here. Here's the beginning of an Armenian cucumber. These things get absolutely huge, and they taste awesome. I've got a lot of beetles out here, a lot of things that I don't think are productive pollinating insects, but rather some insects that might be eating the leaves. You can see, as I pan around, you can see some holes in the leaves, which I don't think is impacting the plant's growth at all yet, but it's something to keep an eye on. And then back here, this very, very tall tomato plant. This is the Sun Gold cherry tomato that just keeps growing up and up and up. But if you look closely, you can see that there's a good amount of fruit actually. There's a bunch of fruit clusters popping all around, but I'm just really worried about this thing being top heavy, and I'm not sure what to do about it. If you have any suggestions, please leave me a comment, because it's in a pot and it's just going to go taller and taller, and I don't want to trim its growth or stop it from growing up right now because it doesn't have enough tomatoes. One idea I had was I was going to starve it of water and clip the top off so that it would promote it to really put on more fruit and more flowers. So that's just one idea I had. Besides that, we've got some other stuff happening in the upper garden. I'm going to make a video about that in the coming days. I actually just planted some new seeds for stuff that I hope to be harvesting when the fall comes around. We're actually already talking about fall time here because we're halfway through summer, and you got to start thinking about those crops you want to plant and be ready for September and October. So that's a look at the container garden. All right, thanks guys.